There are mistakes you know you are making. And then there are mistakes your brain is making for you, quietly, every single day, without your permission. These are not failures of character. They are failures of understanding. And once you see them clearly, you cannot unsee them. You cannot go back to who you were before you knew this. That is exactly what neuroscience gave me. Not motivation, clarity. And clarity changes everything. Welcome to Torch of Psychology. Subscribe for more interesting videos. Here are the 4 biggest mistakes I will never repeat. Mistake number 1. Starting the day by checking my phone. This one feels harmless. It feels productive even. But here's what's actually happening inside your brain. The moment you wake up, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focus, decision-making, and self-control, is in its most sensitive and programmable state. It is wide open, and the first input it receives sets the tone for your entire nervous system that day. When that first input is notifications, news, social media, and other people's emergencies, your brain immediately shifts into reactive mode. Cortisol spikes, anxiety builds, and your attention, your most valuable resource, is handed over to everyone else before you have used a single minute of it for yourself. Science calls this cortisol flooding. I call it starting the day already losing. Never again. Mistake number 2. Believing I could change through motivation alone. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are temporary. Neuroscience is very clear on this. The brain does not build lasting behavior through emotion. It builds lasting behavior through repetition and environment. Every time you repeat an action, neurons fire together and wire together. The pathway gets stronger, the habit gets easier. But if you only act when you feel motivated, you are leaving your entire future in the hands of a feeling that comes and goes like weather. The people who actually changed their lives stopped waiting to feel ready. They built systems, they controlled their environment, they showed up on the days it felt impossible, and their brain rewired itself around that consistency. Motivation is the spark, systems are the engine. I will never confuse the two again. Mistake number 4. Chronically undersleeping and calling it discipline. This one almost broke me. I wore sleep deprivation like a badge. I thought less sleep meant more hustle. Neuroscience says otherwise. During deep sleep, your brain activates the glymphatic system, a biological cleaning process that flushes out toxic waste, including the proteins linked to cognitive decline and burnout. When you cut sleep, you cut this process. Your emotional regulation collapses. Your decision-making degrades. Your memory consolidation stops. You are not being more productive. You are operating with a damaged brain and calling it dedication. Less than 7 hours consistently is not a sacrifice. It is self-destruction dressed up as ambition. I will never glorify it again. Mistake number 4. Living without a defined identity. This is the deepest one. Neuroscience shows that the brain is fundamentally a prediction machine. It constantly asks one question: who am I and what do people like me do? If you have no clear answer, your brain defaults to old patterns, old habits, old versions of you that no longer serve you. But when you define your identity with precision, when you say, I am someone who protects their focus, moves their body daily, and does hard things without negotiation, your brain begins filtering decisions through that identity automatically. Behavior follows belief, and belief follows the story you tell yourself about who you are. I stopped letting my past define that story, and everything shifted. These are not theories. These are patterns playing out inside your brain right now. The question is whether you will keep repeating them, or whether today is the day you decide you know better. You do know better. Now, act like it.